it's a lifestyle. It's not about a single moment of greatness. It's about the quiet decisions you make every day. The small choices, the consistent habits, the standards you hold yourself to when no one else is watching. That's where real excellence is built. Most people believe success is about talent or luck. They think the people at the top have some kind of special advantage, a gift, a head start, better circumstances. But that's not the truth. The people who achieve lasting success, the ones who rise to the top and stay there, are the ones who have mastered the art of daily excellence. Because success is not built in a day. It's built in the daily choices you make when no one is paying attention. It's built in the early mornings, the late nights, the extra effort that most people aren't willing to give. It's built in the decision to show up, even when you don't feel like it, to push through the resistance, to stick to the process. Excellence is not a feeling. It's not something you chase. It's something you become through your daily habits. And here's the truth most people miss. Excellence is not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's not about getting it right every time. It's about showing up and giving your best effort every single day. It's about having a standard for yourself that is non-negotiable. A mindset that says, I don't lower my standards to match the world. I raise my standards to shape the world. When you develop the habit of daily excellence, success becomes inevitable. You stop chasing results and you start attracting them. You stop relying on motivation and you start running on discipline. You stop waiting for the right moment and you start creating momentum through consistent action. So the question is, how do you build the mindset, the habits, and the systems that create excellence every day? How do you train yourself to operate at a higher standard automatically until it becomes who you are? That's exactly what we're going to cover. Not theories, not vague ideas, but real, practical habits that you can apply immediately. Habits that have been tested and proven. Habits that will rewire your mind, sharpen your focus, and elevate your performance. Excellence is not a destination. It's not a result. It's a way of being. And once you learn how to master it, every single day, you'll separate yourself from the crowd. The first habit of daily excellence is mastering your mornings. The way you start your day determines the way you live your day. If you begin with discipline, focus, and purpose, those qualities will carry into everything else you do. But if you start in a reactive state, hitting snooze, rushing through the morning, you set yourself up for distraction, procrastination, and inconsistency. Excellence begins before the world wakes up. It begins when you take control of the first moments of your day. Because if you can win the morning, you can win the day. The key is not just waking up early, it's how you wake up. The best performers in the world wake up with intention. They start their day with purpose, not by accident. Before they do anything else, they prime their mind for excellence. Some use affirmations, some journal, some meditate. Some move their body to wake up their physiology. But they all have one thing in common. They control their first thoughts, their first actions, and their first priorities. If you want to master daily excellence, your mornings must be non-negotiable. You must create a routine that strengthens your mindset, energizes your body, and focuses your attention on what matters most. Even 10 minutes of focused morning practice can rewire your brain and shift your entire day. The mistake most people make is waiting to feel like doing it. They wait for motivation to get up early. They wait until they have the energy to start strong. But that's not how excellence works. If you wait to feel ready, you'll stay stuck in the same patterns. Instead, you train yourself to wake up and move, no matter how you feel. One of the simplest but most powerful habits is getting up as soon as your alarm goes off. The moment you hit snooze, you are training your mind to procrastinate. You are conditioning yourself to break commitments. And that carries into everything else you do. But if you make waking up immediately a rule, no debate, no delay, you build the habit of instant execution. When you start your day with discipline, you carry that discipline into your work, your goals, your decisions. When you start your day with focus, you train your brain to filter out distractions. When you start your day with energy, you perform at a higher level in everything you do. Success does not start with big achievements. It starts with small, intentional choices. And if you can master your mornings, you'll gain control over the rest of your day. The second habit of daily excellence is controlling your focus. Your attention is your most valuable resource. Whatever you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you create more stress. If you focus on distractions, you waste time and energy. But if you direct your attention toward growth, execution, and results, your actions will align with success. Most people never train their focus. They wake up with good intentions, but by the end of the day, they wonder where their time went. Excellence doesn't work that way. It requires deliberate control over what gets your attention. The people who dominate in life are not necessarily smarter or more talented. They simply know how to eliminate distractions and lock in on what matters. They don't let the outside world dictate their priorities. They don't allow every message, every request, or every interruption to pull them away from their mission. You must train your mind to focus like a laser. And the best way to do this is by setting clear rules for your attention. Block out time for deep work. Protect your focus as if it were the most important thing in your life, because it is. Excellence is built in the moments when you choose discipline over distraction. Every time you say no to something meaningless and say yes to your mission, you reinforce the habit of concentration. Distractions don't just waste time, they drain energy. Every time you switch tasks, your brain has to recalibrate. It takes effort to refocus. This is why most people feel exhausted at the end of the day, even if they didn't accomplish much. They spent the day jumping from one thing to the next, never fully locked in. The highest performers operate differently. They create blocks of deep, uninterrupted work. They train their brain to stay on one task for extended periods. And as a result, they get more done in a few focused hours than most people do in an entire day. If you want to rewire your mind for excellence, you must learn to guard your focus. Start by removing the biggest sources of distraction in your life. Control your environment. Be ruthless with your time. And most importantly, develop the discipline to keep your attention on one thing at a time. The third habit of daily excellence is mastering your self-discipline. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. The people who win in life are the ones who can make themselves do what needs to be done, especially when they don't feel like it. Most people rely on motivation. They wait until they feel inspired. They wait until the conditions are perfect. They wait until they're in the mood. And that's why they stay stuck, because motivation is temporary. It's unpredictable. It comes and goes. But discipline, that's permanent. That's something you build. Discipline is a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it gets. And just like a muscle, if you don't use it, it weakens. Every time you make an excuse, Every time you procrastinate, every time you let yourself off the hook, you make that muscle weaker. But every time you follow through, every time you push yourself, every time you keep a commitment, you strengthen it. The secret to building discipline is to eliminate negotiation. Most people lose the battle before they even start because they allow their mind to negotiate. Should I go to the gym or take the day off? Should I work on my goals or relax? Should I do it now or later? That back and forth drains your energy. It gives your mind an opportunity to find an excuse. The best performers don't negotiate with themselves. They don't wait for motivation. They don't ask how they feel. They don't debate whether they should follow through. They just do it because it's who they are, because they've trained themselves to act automatically. Discipline is about making a decision once and then never debating it again. If you decide you're the kind of person who wakes up early, then there's no discussion when the alarm goes off. If you decide you're the kind of person who works out daily, then it's non-negotiable. If you decide you're the kind of person who follows through on commitments, then it doesn't matter how you feel in the moment. The easiest way to build discipline is to start with small, daily commitments. Even something as simple as making your bed, drinking water first thing in the morning, or sticking to a set routine. Because every time you keep a small promise to yourself, you train your mind to follow through. And that carries over into bigger decisions, bigger goals, and bigger results. Discipline isn't about doing things perfectly. It's about doing them consistently. Some days will be harder than others. Some days, the last thing you want to do is stick to the plan. But that's when it matters most. That's when you build the kind of discipline that separates you from everyone else. The fourth habit of daily excellence is developing relentless consistency. Most people start strong, but very few stay consistent. They get excited. They commit to new habits. They feel unstoppable. But then something happens. Life gets in the way. Their energy dips. They miss a day, then two, then three. And before they know it, they're back to square one. Excellence isn't about what you do once in a while. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's better to do something small every single day than to go all out for a week and then quit. The highest performers in the world aren't the ones who go the hardest in short bursts. They are the ones who show up day after day, no matter what. Consistency is the foundation of everything great. Success in any area, fitness, business, personal growth, relationships, comes down to your ability to keep showing up, even when the motivation is gone, even when the results aren't immediate, even when no one else is watching. Most people fail because they expect results too quickly. They work hard for a few weeks, but when they don't see instant progress, they assume it's not working. But that's not how success happens. Growth isn't linear. The results don't come right away. They compound over time. And if you quit too soon, you never reach the breakthrough. The people who achieve excellence understand this. They don't stop just because they don't see results right away. They keep going. They trust the process. They know that consistency creates momentum, and momentum leads to massive transformation. The key to relentless consistency is removing the decision-making process. When something is optional, it becomes negotiable. But when it's a must, it gets done, no matter what. You don't wake up and wonder if you should brush your teeth. You just do it because it's part of your identity. It's who you are. If you want to be consistent, you must approach your habits the same way. Working on your goals is not optional. Training your body is not optional. Sticking to your commitments is not optional. You don't do it when it's convenient. You don't do it when you feel like it. You do it because that's the standard you've set for yourself. The biggest mistake people make is relying on willpower. Willpower is unreliable. It fluctuates. Some days it's strong, some days it's weak. And if your success depends on how much willpower you have in the moment, you'll always struggle to stay consistent. The best way to eliminate the need for willpower is to create systems. Systems make success automatic. They remove the friction between you and the action you need to take. They make it easier to be consistent because you don't have to think about it. You just follow the plan.